with lighting candles in Makabel Shabbos. So Mela, it's a whole shadow, but it was Kabbalah. But the man usually Makabel Shabbos with his davening. So that's why he doesn't have to make the brachas specifically. Tzeicha mahalik b'makom sheyechu. Sheyehei nika shemadrika Makabel Shabbos. So Moshe Gada told me that that the Rebbe once on Pesach was strong because when does the Rebbe make visits, it was on Pesach, so he visited Machachana, he visited a number of Sedarim there. The Lubavitch Yeshiva he visited Free, he visited the Hadar Torah, and when he came to Machachana, so there was no candles on the table. The candles were someplace else. So the Rebbe said to them, why is no candles on the table? So, but still in many places, especially let's say like in a camp, a girls' camp, so they usually have one table where they all light the candles over there. Sure. But normally, when I think over here when it says it doesn't mean dafka by that table. Yeah, if you have in the room, there's a table with the candles that you don't want. It's also good.
The Rebbe Mustam was asking that time about candles, especially for the Simchas Yantav. They have candles on the tables. It wasn't if the girls lit on the tables. I don't know if they... He
asked me if I know about it. I said I don't, but I sent it to my source. My source is Elixon.
Well, I was going to say yes.
You want to know something? Call Elixon and tell him that I told you to call. So he called him and he told him that exactly where and what happened.
In Tafshinam Aleph, in 1414, they asked Tzivia. What's her name? Tzivia,
Mrs. Gansberg.
Where is the...
No, Mrs. Gansberg was in Machon.
The Catholic.
Well, this was in Machon.
Yeah, no, but he's saying in 1414 in Lubavitch Yeshiva. In Lubavitch Yeshiva.
There was candles, but they were not lit yet. So the Rebbe asked...
who's lighting them?
Over there, the Rebbe would go into the kitchen to say Good Yontif to Musi.
Oh, that's Musi. Yeah.
Musi.
That's the one, yes.
Musi lived the whole year from that Good Yontif that
I could tell you
came into
the year that the Iranians came. The years when the Iranians came in 1980. So
they made it say the here downstairs.
Yeah, but that's for the girls. They made it here. For the boys, I don't know. They made a seder in Vermont, upstairs, and we're now on top of Levi Yitzchak Library.
Yeah.
So they're looking for someone to help out. So they found a bacher from Chabad, Rifkin, and he was there the whole day. He was working his head off over there, making everything. They made rice. The Rebbe said we should make everything that they made. He made rice. He made everything for them. And then he heard that the Rebbe's coming to the Seder to come. So he ran into the kitchen. He was all dirty, and he went to hide in the back of the kitchen. I was there, and the Rebbe came. The Rebbe walked, and he walked, and there was like a little income at the end of the kitchen. The Rebbe walked till the end, and he bent like this. He knew he was hiding there. He said good job to him because he was thankful that he was doing it. I said you can't hide from the Rebbe. The Mamash, he went all till the end, and he went to say good job to him.
They have a. There was over here was also a place.
Yeah.
I don't know about the girl, but they have a meaning that they're Mekayim the Pasuk, Misharais and Sruz with some oisa, where they keep it in a bag on the back, and if they hit each other with it, they have a whole meaning about it. Yeah. But not all Sfardim eat rice even on Pesach. Mm-hmm. There's some that don't. It depends where they come from. Now he says over here, Ach, b'shas adchak, kigayin she'ish shechayla, ve'eini yechayla le'elech al hashulchan. We spoke about this yesterday, that years ago, a woman after birth didn't get off the bed for a few days. So the minig was in Shulchan Aruch. The Rebbe brings also Shulchan Aruch that the husband used to light the candles. But in other places, they used to bring the candles to the woman by her bed. So madlek is geshiva mita, umamidim oisum achakach ala shulchan babayis. Because, in other words, because she's already, you can't leave them over there. So, but say that the woman shouldn't be the one to bring the candles to the table.
Because she said
because
Shabbos.
She was Makabel Shabbos.
For sure.
Ki kol habayis nechshav mekayman. Now, on this heter that he says that kol habayis nechshav mekayman, that's also a teretz. Before he said that you have to light in every room. So he said they rely on this heter that the whole bias is considered the place of the candle. V'noshim shemadrikas haneres b'sukkah v'hakach noises oisem utecha bias go yofer hey noisim. The same thing. Why? Because they were Makabel Shabbos or Makabel Yontif. So Neshu Dol Meir of Shabbos Tzrichon L'chvoisai V'lachza U'ladrika L'kavah Shabbos. In other words, because we learned before that you could light the candles as early as Praga Mincha. Praga Mincha is much earlier. But if you lit the candle before Praga Mincha, then you're not Yotze. So you have to put them out and put them back on again and make a bracha. Today, Nika Shemadlik L'kavah Shabbos. So we can't think he's lighting L'kavah Shabbos. Now he talks another din about guests and different rooms. Tzarech lahadlik es haneres b'chol hachadarim shemashtamesh b'hom. You have to, in order, can have to be a light.
This was years ago. When
okay, so there are other people that they have an electric thing that they light to be yaitze this shayla. Mishu b'beisei Eitzel Ishtay, Kivin Shim Varachas al Haneda Shabacheda Echad, Ein Tzrichel Haborach al Hadloka Shabashar Chadarim. Avul im Hu b'mokam acher, im yesh roi cheda miyuchad tzorach hadlik ulevarach. V'im hein rabim shenesasku b'cheda sleeping in one room, is your start to litness neighbors v'yadlik acha v'yivarach. I don't think this whole thing is really negated today, because today, being that you have the electric light, so the Indian of lighting candles is just to be ma'or. So it's not such a chumrah. So if you're a guest by somebody, if it's a woman, so she lights candles, because how many gets to light candles. But a man relies on the hostess of the house. Be'im ein l'cheda miyuchad, el shu b'cheda echad im Baal Hoshpizo Yisrael, Jewish place, ein etzorach halik kivashish the madlekas ola b'beisai. So in his house,
his own wife is doing it for him.
Huh?
Because his own wife is lighting back
right.
home.
Ubachurim alemdim b'mokum acha, b'moshe yeshiva b'chem, zim yeshram chedem yuchot sichel hadrik b'bracha, v'yishtat v'gam kein liknes neides. Ve'echad yevorech ve'yotzi eskulam. This shara becomes also by Chanukah. If you should light in a dormitory, if you should light by your room, or if you should light in the kitchen. So, you should light in your room. But the minig is that for safety reasons, that they don't light it in. Maybe the dormitory is different. But in other places, like in camps or what, like I said before, they have like one table where all the candles are lit on that table. Utzrichen sheyir neres dolken ad sheyavoyu shama. Ve'im ein lam chedem miyuchad kivin she'ein lam noshim. That means the yeshiva b'chem shemadrikos sichon losses pruta l'balabayis shetia lam shutvis b'neides. Umishu samach al shulchan balabayis הוא בכלל בני בייסוין ואין הצורך להשתתף. So Masama, the Bacham, the yeshivas, they're on like a cheshbon of the yeshiva, the dormitory supervisor, and therefore they don't like themselves. Derech Haga, there's a shaila, doesn't talk about over here, but let's say if a person, together with his wife, a guest someplace for Shabbos, and let's say the woman's minhag is to light 5 candles. There's 3 children, how many candles you have to light in that place?
Right.
So a lot of women have a minhag that they only light 2 candles.
Right.
But Vet Ashayla, that L'chayre, Vibal, that their minhag is always to light 5 candles, so it's again, there's a chiv of neder. And b'meila, so that's why it says it's better that she should light 5 candles over there. But some rely on, it depends on another thing. In her house,
Will somebody be
back
lighting?
home, is someone lighting candles over there. So some say that it's okay for her to light 2 candles over here, providing that in her house, they're lighting the 5 candles that she normally lights.
Yeah, but that usually
Because
not the case.
the nether was, the Erev Shaila, was the nether to always light 5 candles at Erev Shabbos, or was the nether to light 5 candles in her house? So if you say the nether was to light Erev Shabbos 5 candles,
Wherever you are.
that the Shaila wherever you are. If the minhag is not to light 5, minhag is in her house, she lights 5 candles, so it doesn't matter if she lights over here. The question is, was she mata neder? If you say it was a neder, was she mata neder? So they want to give a heta. First of all, what I said before, that the neder was the light in her house, and they also say that to this we apply. There's a rule in the Gemara, leiv bezna masna. I think that applies to a lot of people. So the bezin made up this condition when they lit that you could suffice with 2 candles over there. Another shaila that comes, which is a very popular shaila, and I was asked many times the shaila, what if as a woman, let's say, is giving birth? Comes Friday, she wants to light candles. The hospital rule is you can't light candles in the hospital. So many hospitals have an electric menorah. And they say, we give you the electric menorah and you can light it. So what I told people is, same thing. Number 1, have someone light for her 5 candles. The electric menorah, you could do it, but a bracha you shouldn't make. That's popular, because it's not really considered a ner. Okay. No yesh afilu kamen noshim adlikas neides bebayis echad. B'chol achas mevarachas ala neides. Because he said, ki marshin taiser oira yesh basimcha yisayir. That's what I said before, the Indian for taisus or. V'ach yesh rizor sheloi tadlikan shtayim b'menoira achas. Because it's mamish the same. It says, u'b'shas hatchak mekirim gam b'zeh. That they could use the same menorah. Now, he's talking another shaila. The shaila is, a lot of people use the little, those little
tea lights.
Tea lights. So you don't really have so much that problem. But the people that use regular candles, so as the candle begins to burn down, begins to drip and everything. So what they do is they put in some water into the candle holder, that when the candle comes down to the bottom, it will go out. The water will put it out. So this he says over here, Ein ritem mayim afilum b'yom. You're not allowed to put water even during the day. L'toich nekav hamenorah shemachnisin shom es haner shel chaylev or shel shava. It means the neck of a menorah means the bottom of the candle. So on the bottom they put a little bit of water. So when it gets down to the bottom, the water extinguishes it. Because it's like only a groma. Aber Hamid Keli in there, Tachas Menorah Hatruya, Kedei She'im Yiplu Nitzaitzes, Yiskavu, Isagamu, Afil Hamid Miboid Yom. In other words, the candle was like a hanging candle, and there's sparks coming from the candle. So the sparks, when they see, when you had a menorah versus, so there wasn't such a problem. But if it's not in a menorah, the candle's alone, so there may be sparks, so it'll hit the table. So they put something that will catch the sparks and they extinguish.
Right.
Muhammad Kli Belimayim L'Kabel HaNitzaisis. What happens if there's no water in it? But there's a keli that catches the sparks. Mutter afilu mishach sheichel. Ki nitzaitzes ein behem mamash. The shaila is, in the Gemara, there's a shaila, what's called mavato keli meichonai. Keli serves a purpose, and you can't use it. It becomes like muksa keli. Uhamed kli b'shvil sheyitavta l'sham hashemen oyachelev mishach sheichel is also awesome. They wanted to save him, so there was dripping oil from it, or dripping chaylev, the fats. The kivin shem yitavte ye'oser hakelev betilfel, because the kelev becomes what's called a bossus v'davar ha'oser. Nimtza shehu mevata kli mehechonai v'oser. Mishum dehavi kilu divka sham, as though he attached it, connected it over there. Aval hamed v'vayoyim is mutter. V'im not of the teicha shaman, if oil dripped into the keli, and you want to use the oil, is also a stapik mimeno b'Shabbos, v'akli also betiltel, because the keli is muktzah, because the shaman is also muktzah. V'im not of the teicha. Machshava ba'alma means that you had in mind to put it there intentionally. So like you were maktzeh it. Muktzeh happens by ben hashmoshes. So if by ben hashmoshes you took your mind off it, it becomes muktzeh. They say that before you ben shrich, the challah should be on the table. Why is that? Because we have a din of a bossus. So if you have your candles on the table, so the table becomes a bossus to the candle.
Right.
And if a thing is a bossus, l'davar also l'davar amuta, so then it's no shaila. Otherwise, you wouldn't be allowed to move the table. So therefore, he says it's good to put the challahs on the table. So maybe it becomes a bossus l'davar also l'davar amuta is muta. Isha suma, a woman is never blind. Im yesh rabal, yadak habal v'yivarech, v'yemen rabal, v'yidara levada, she's living alone. Madrekas u'mavarechas. The reason is because she benefits from people being able to see. So it's also to her benefit. V'im dorim acherim bebayis echad, v'acherim madrikim. So madrak is a summa b'lei brachon, because she is so, it's like an indirect benefit, not direct. Ach, im hi akeres abayis, if she's like the landlady or the head of the household, tadak hitchilu with the barach, v'achakach adlik acherim b'yivochu. The others could write and make a bracha, they're direct beneficiaries, and she is an indirect beneficiary. If a woman forgot to light candles, So if she's lighting candles, let's say 5 candles, so she should start lighting 6 candles.
This is a pretty harsh thing to do, no?
What?
It's a very hard, I mean, it's a punishment, so to speak.
Well, it's not a punishment, okay. Listen. If she forgot a few times, it's Tadlik Talmud Ne Echad Yaisa. So if she was always lighting 5, and this is the third time that she forgot, she starts lighting 8. V'hu mishum heka sheteizik kira mikanu ahava. This is a way to remind her to be careful. V'lachen imachmas einis, if it wasn't her fault, is damas imachmas lehidrika. If that's the reason why she didn't light, ain't it tzricha l'haisa. There always becomes a shaila. I'll tell you, I'm phrasing the shaila. A lot of times, a young couple got married, and they're invited to the in-laws for Friday night.
Where did they light the candles?
So, let's say better on Yom Tov, and she's relying that when she'll come home to her house, she'll light the candles. But that's already after the meal, and it's late already, and she comes home and she's tired already, and then she comes to the shaila. I didn't light the candles on Yom Tov. Do I have to add a candle or not? So over here, Shulchan Aruch doesn't say.
By Yom Tov. Only by Yom Tov.
It says there by Shabbos. Yeah. So a lot say that you should. It makes no difference Shabbos or Yom Tov. But I noticed in Blumenkrant's book, I don't know where he got it from, but Blumenkrant's book says that on Yom Tov she should light another candle.
Only on Yom Tov.
Yeah, not every Shabbos of the year. So.
Interesting.